I'm a visitor from Canada and have experienced many paranormal encounters in my country. The story here is the first in the Philippines. I have visited the Philippines a total of 5 times previously, this, the 6th. The story took place recently in Cebu City at the Elizabeth Hotel. I arrived in Cebu City at the hotel on September 2, 2016, the same day as the Davao City bombing. The hotel is quite a nice hotel, the upkeep is relatively recent, and reasonably quiet as hotels go. Nothing noteworthy happened during the first week of stay. Coming and goings of guests to the suites or rooms are in my mind busy and normal. No extraordinary noise behavior that warrants my suspicion, and wasn't totally quiet, with people traffic coming and going as normal. On the second week, however, I started to hear some dragging sounds, a chair dragging on the floor, on the ceiling. I was on the 7th floor, so the dragging must have occurred on the 8th floor. I thought nothing of it because, well, this is not any different than other hotels. The only problem was, the room on every floor was covered in rugs or carpets. Almost simultaneously, that night, I heard a double knock on my door. I shouted, "Who is it?" No answer came back, so I automatically assumed the person knocked on the wrong door. 10 minutes elapsed, then another double knock. I again shouted, "Who is it?" in a louder tone, again no answer. I went to sleep, a bit annoyed at people knocking on my door and have not the courtesy to answer. Meanwhile, the dragging of the chair started up, occurring every 30 minutes or so for about a couple of hours. This went on for about 5 days. Along with the dragging sound, I would get a phone call and no one would answer at the other end. This happened twice. I thought for sure someone upstairs knows my room number and is playing pranks on me. The following day I was mad and banged close to the ceiling as the noise continued. "That's it, I'm going to complain at the front desk," I said to myself. On telling the story to the clerk at the front, the girl checked the register and spoke to 3 of her other coworkers. They then summoned the hotel manager. They all looked at each other after the registry book was checked. "I don't know what to say," the manager gasped. "No one has checked in the rooms above you and on either side of you for several days." "Oh," I said. The manager offered to have it looked at but was quite scared to do it himself. So he gathered a few girls and went to check for themselves. I never got a definitive answer, except they would change my room immediately. I didn't take up the offer, as this adds a little adventure to my visit this year. As I have said before, I have experienced ghost encounters, and some may be found if you Google True British Columbia Ghost Stories. My story is about the 8th or 9th down the list. Another is in B.C. Ghosts Report Haunting Society Sycan across BC, Northern BC, Burns Lake. Stories took place in various homes I lived while working as a pharmacist in my province. Cebu City has for some reason or another an open gate for paranormal experiences for myself. This is the second experience I encountered since the fall of 2016. See dragging on the ceiling for previous experience on this site. It was on November 15, 2017, that I checked into the Alicia Part L with my companion and guide, whom I will call Lydia. This is a 3-year-old building that acts as a hotel or apartment for students attending schools nearby. It is basically one room that encompasses a bedroom/dining area/and kitchen, all within a small L-shaped enclosure. The bathroom, with shower, is next to the bedroom. As far as paranormal activities, not much happened until December 4th. That's when I sat down at the small table to have supper. Lydia had just prepared several pieces of chicken and left it on the table. As I looked at the chicken that was fried, to the left of me, the plate started to move towards the center of the table. I thought, strange, I'll remove the chicken to see if it repeats that. Before doing that, I took the chicken and placed it on my large plate. I also checked to see if the plate that held the chicken was wet or hot to cause any hovering effect. It was not. About 4 to 5 minutes later, the same plate moved again. I summoned Lydia, "Come look at this. Just sit here a moment and watch." She did, and 2 minutes later the dish made another move. She then said she had something to tell me. "Oh great, I thought, what is wrong now?" She proceeded to tell me that earlier that morning, while I was asleep, several objects flew off the table below the television set, a sign that told the guest no smoking allowed, and a menu outlining what a person can order for breakfast. I believe it even cracked the no smoking sign that was encased in a plastic holder. Another sign tipped over on the table. The signs that flew off the table made a 12 to 14-inch leap. This was no small feat. No draughts of wind were apparent because the windows were closed, so were the curtains. The time was apparently 1:30 a.m. of December 4th. The following night at the same time, 1:30 a.m. December 5th. While I was on the computer and Lydia next to me, we noticed the drawer of the same table open fully on its own. So we closed it, and a minute later the drawer opened again. We reported the happenings to the front desk clerk and asked if anything of this nature had happened before. She said no, but told me about 4 days before the whole building was blessed. She also asked if we wanted to change rooms. I assured her that was not necessary. We are brave souls, as I chuckled under my breath. Another interesting aspect to this story is that we stayed on room 518. There is no 4th floor, as some Asians, especially Chinese, believe 4 means death, so they skipped calling that the 4th floor and changed it to 5th. Theoretically, we were staying at 418, and if you believe in numbers, 4 plus 1 plus 8 is equal to 13, or 1 plus 3 is equal to 4, so the room designated death. We stayed there for another week before leaving to Manila, where everything returned to normal.